War is raging in the Middle East, and President Trump just escalated everything by bombing 3 nuclear sites in Iran. And to make matters worse, Iran controls the Strait of Hormuz, and that is this tiny waterway where 20% of the world's oil supply passes through every single day. So if they shut that down in retaliation, that could skyrocket our gas and our food prices. So like it or not, our money could be affected by these global events. So in today's video, we need to talk about how you can protect your money and your family if America goes to war. So I want to quickly first talk about what happens to an economy during a war. Basically, the government focuses all of its efforts on the military and military spending. The spending skyrockets during a war, and that's because we're making more weapons, we're shipping soldiers and weapons and supplies to the war zone. So that means that the government is spending tons of money. And so since the government is spending so much more money, like where are they getting this money from? Well, there's 3 ways the government can make this money. The first way is taxes. Another way is they just borrow the money. So basically taking out more debt. And the third way is they just use the Federal Reserve to print more money. And the bottom line for us is this means higher taxes, higher prices, and the value of our dollar decreasing. So how do we as regular citizens protect ourselves from this financial pain? Well, the first thing to do, I believe, is to pray. And I believe that we need to pray that America does not go to war. We cannot control Israel. We cannot control Iran. We honestly can't even control President Trump, but you know what I'm saying. We just need to pray. We need to pray for our country, pray for our leaders, and pray for peace. So after you pray, it's time to get serious. Playtime is over. My mom always said that you have to prepare for war in a time of peace. And the first thing you can do to get yourself and your family ready is to understand what's going on with your money. Where is your money going? First of all, how much money do you make? How much are you spending every single month? Most people have no idea how much money they spend every single month. You need to know your rent payment, your bills, your utilities, your minimum debt payment. So many people don't even know how much they owe every single month on their debts. You need to know these numbers. How much are your subscriptions? Are you being charged extra subscriptions that you don't even know about? How much are you eating out? There's so many ways that money leaks out of our account every single month just because we're not paying attention. So you need to know these numbers. Once you know how much is coming in and how much is going out, you can create a budget. And a budget is basically just a plan of you telling your money where to go and what to do. So once you have a budget, the next thing to do is to build up your emergency fund. So we don't know what's coming next. We have no clue if we are going to war. We have no clue if we're going to be attacked. And it's just in times of uncertainty, it is very wise to have cash on hand, liquid cash that you can access, whether it be in your bank account or in a high yield savings account. It is so crucial that you have adequate savings in uncertain times because you have no clue if you need to get to a family member quickly or if you need to buy emergency supplies or stock up on food, stock up on water. You have no clue what's coming next. So having that buffer, having that cushion, that emergency fund where you can access and get money to protect yourself and your family, that is the wisest thing you can do right now. So that's why I wanted you to get on a budget, because when you know how much money you make and how much money you spend, then you know how much what the difference is at the end of each month and how much money you can save. And so the recommended amount is 3 to 6 months of living expenses for an emergency fund. So make that your goal. Once you have a plan to build your emergency fund, the next thing I want you to focus on is getting out of this high interest debt. When uncertainty comes, you need as much money as you can keep in your wallet, and you don't want to get paid and then there's 5 different companies already have their hand in your bank account taking out their cut. That's just not a safe place financially. It makes you very fragile financially in a very risky position. So you want to prioritize getting out of specifically high interest debt. And that is your credit cards. That is any buy now, pay later loans, anything like that. You want to eliminate this debt if you can. So start by listing out all your debts and writing out who the debt is to, how much the balance is, what your interest rates are, and your monthly payments that you owe. And then come up with a plan of how you want to attack it. You can do the lowest balance first, which is the debt snowball method, or you can do the highest interest rate, which is the debt avalanche method, or you can just choose whichever debt annoys you the most. Whatever method will keep you engaged and keep you committed to the process of paying off your debt, that's the method that you need to choose. When you do pay off that debt, the freedom that you feel is incredible, because now you control what happens to your money when it hits your account, not Amex and not Klarna. I want to quickly talk about how to protect the value of your money. So as I said earlier, the government using the Federal Reserve to print money can cause massive inflation, and that causes the devaluing of the dollar, and we lose our purchasing power. So when you have your money in a savings account, let's just say a high yield savings account, that's amazing. That's the first step. You should absolutely do that. But let's say you're getting 3% interest in that savings account and inflation is at 8% like it was in 2022, then you're basically losing 5% of the value of your dollar every single year, where the inflation rate is higher than what the interest rate that you're earning in your savings account. So in order to hedge against that and protect the value of your money, my recommendation is that you invest your money. Investing your money, it helps to preserve the value of your money, but it also helps to grow the value of your money. And I know you may be thinking, like, what are you talking about, invest? America could be going to war. Why would I put my money in the stock market? I hear that. But historically, the stock market has always risen to new highs, even after a world war. And like I said, the value of your dollar can drastically decrease if the government starts printing money to fund a war. So you can think that you're keeping your money safe by just keeping it in a savings account, but you're losing the purchasing power of your money. I know it seems risky, but it is the safest thing to preserve the value of your dollar and also to grow the value of your wealth. And I know that the topic of investing can seem so confusing and so overwhelming, especially if you've never done it before. That's why I created a video where I talk about the basics of investing from start to finish, and it's completely beginner friendly. And I also created a free resource, which is a companion guide to that video, and it's called the Beginner Investor Starter Kit. And it is a quick start guide. It is super easy to follow, and it takes you step by step how to get started with investing, and it also answers any frequently asked questions. So if you would like to get that Beginner Investor Starter Kit, then type KIT in the comments below and I'll send that to you. And I want to hear from you guys. What are you guys thinking? What are you guys feeling? What conversations are going on in your household? I want us to encourage one another. Let's not stoke fear, but let's talk about, what's going on and offer solutions. And I'm praying for you guys. I'm praying for the country. I'm praying for our president. I'm praying for our military. Any lives that are at risk right now, I'm praying. And, we don't know what's coming next, but I just wanted to help prepare you guys in the small way that I can, by educating. So, let me know what you guys think, and if you're interested in starting to learn to invest, and you just need a clear roadmap and a clear guide to learn the steps to investing, then watch this video next and I'll see you there.